they're going to be out there. They don't take days off just because it's hot out. So if you see them, they'll be uncomfortable, but hopefully they'll be getting through this with the support of our entire community, a grateful community. And the worst should be over by Saturday. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay cool. Now with that, let me turn it over to Commissioner Bray for an update on what to anticipate. Commissioner Bray.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. As the governor said, we're expecting 4 days of extreme heat. I just want to run through a little bit region specific. The worst heat will be in a bit of a triangle. If you think of Albany down to Ithaca over to Rochester, feels like temps 103 to 107 today. Albany and Plattsburgh themselves feels like temps at 100 today. The Plattsburgh temp, while the temperature we have seen before, no one at the Weather Service can remember a feels like temp on our Canadian border of 100, which they will see for some time this week. For New York City and Long Island, the heat will be worse later in the week. So Thursday, Friday, the heat shifts south and east. While the next couple days will be no joke for them, Thursday and Friday will be particularly concerning for New York City and Long Island. But over the next 4 days, everywhere across the state feels like temps over the mid 90s. Today is the hottest, but the worst heat risks will be felt in New York on Wednesday and Thursday. And as the governor said, this is really a new normal for us. And so we need to be good and get good about dealing with heat. So I want to add a little bit of detail here. Heat risk is cumulative, which means that one very hot day, which these regions have seen several times, becomes less of an issue both for our energy grid and for human health than several very hot days. And 4 very hot days is really at this level is really something we don't see in these cities. So think about heat risk, think about the cumulative nature, number one. Number two, early season heat is more dangerous than late season heat. We are actually good at acclimatizing. We are good at getting used to the heat, but this is very early to have this level of heat in the state, and that will make it more dangerous. And number three, there will be no real nighttime relief. Nighttime temps will stay up in the 70s, 75 or higher, and that means that our bodies won't have the chance to get that relief, cool down, and it will make it a more dangerous event. As the governor says, we are prepared. I want to give some people helpful links and helpful phone numbers. 211 statewide and 311 where it is available will have the addresses and the locations of cooling centers across the state. So if you need help, if you need to get to air conditioning, those are 2 great numbers, 211, 311. You can sign up for alerts at alert.ny.gov to get real-time information right on your phone. You can find cooling centers at health.ny.gov/cooling centers. You can find air quality information at airnow.gov. And you can find the maps that we're using, the heat risk, which is actually new this year to the East Coast, at wcp.ncep.noaa.gov/heat risk. And all of those links are on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bray. And now we'll hear from Rory Christian, the Chair and CEO of the Public Service Commission, about steps that his agency has been taking.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Jackie, for the overview. So we at the Department of Public Service have been tracking electric system conditions and overseeing utility response to any situations that may arise as a result of this week's excessive heat. Again, we're in direct contact with utility leaders and are ensuring that they're taking the necessary steps to prepare their systems and have their 5,500 staff on hand to address any issues that arise. I assure you all that right now the system is stable and planned maintenance deferred until the conclusion of the event. We're also pausing excavation activity to ensure that there are no accidental incidents that can cause additional problems. Now, as pointed out earlier, what's unique about this event is the timing and its duration. It's happening earlier in the year at a point where we're not used to it, but the system as a whole is built to handle the worst that we can throw at it. But again, the longer the situation lasts, the more extreme the stress on the system, the more likely there will be damage to the system. And again, the combination of high energy use and high temperature will place stresses on the system that can cause isolated damage and outages. We know through working with the New York ISO, we have ample generation available to meet our needs, but these isolated outages will need to be addressed if they occur. And again, this is part of our work with the utilities, have the equipment and the processes in place to address any issues as they arise. We're taking a number of preemptive steps in working with the utilities. Again, in addition to having the crews and the equipment to deal with any that arise, we're also taking preemptive steps to do voltage reduction in certain areas where needed to reduce the stress on them. And we're doing active cooling of transformers, essentially spraying them down with water, putting up shading to ensure that these equipment can work in the higher than normal and higher than expected temperatures. Now, in terms of what we can all do, again, using less energy will go a long way towards us weathering this particular event. Close drapes, windows, and doors to try to keep the solar heat from building up in your home. This can keep you cool, keep you comfortable. To the degree you can keep your temperature as comfortable as possible, try to keep your air conditioner set point in the mid to high 70s. Was particularly given the length and duration is critically important. Also, to the degree you can, seal any openings in your windows or any gaps around the air conditioner to minimize the loss of cooling. You want to cool your home, not the outside environment. So these are just a few of many steps that you can take. Information is available online. And if you don't have an air conditioner in your home, there are a number of cooling centers available throughout the state. As Commissioner Bray pointed out, dial 211 for that information throughout the state. And in New York City, dial 311. Again, we're taking this particular event very seriously. It's unique in that it's happening earlier in the year, and advance can go a long way towards minimizing any potential impacts. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman Christian, for the update on how we're managing what we anticipate to be higher than usual pressure on our energy grid, but also what we can do personally as individuals in terms of if you're not home at your apartment, why would you leave the air conditioning on all day if there's no pets at home? So doing your laundry late at night, early in the morning, turning on the dishwasher late at night, early in the morning, all of us can be cognizant. These are actually good practices all the time, but particularly now when there'll be additional pressure by high use of air conditioning from companies and individuals during this heat wave over this week, so we can make sure that we have the resiliency and the energy generation that we need to get through this. So thank you and your agency for all the great work they're doing. Also, the effect on human beings. So let's hear from our health commissioner, Dr. Jim McDonald, on advice he has on what he sees associated with this particular event. Dr. McDonald?
Yeah, thank you, Governor Hochul. You know, as the state's doctor, I think it's important we talk a little bit about how do I prevent heat stroke? You know, and I think all of us at some point in our life have had the adverse effects of, most of us have had heat cramps. You overdid it one day, right? A lot of sweating, felt a little nauseous, you had heat cramps. You went inside, cool environment, drank some water, and you felt better. And that's important. But we're not catching a we might move into something called heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion means sweating, headache, nausea, even vomiting. This is really important to get that person into the environment and sip water, gradually recover. What we really heat stroke, which can be a medical emergency. When someone has heat stroke, they're even over 105. That person might be confused or even lose